And evening to you all, wherever you are joining me at this hour. Welcome to 508th edition of Invest Data Trading Academy Live with Ambrose. Yes, I'll tell you that the volatility in the global market continue this hour, and most of the market, yes, I see that some are down, some of the market are also in green. As to speak now, look at in Asia, even when the China and US trade war really, yes, they say it's easy, but you can see that they've not really come to a term, not to term. But I believe that as China and the US trade uncertainty persist, but Asia FS also has remained a bit stable as we speak now. But if you look at the market profile in Asia, I think that it's a mixed market we are seeing in that domain. But I'll tell you that kudos to Toyota in Japan that push Japan index higher as to speak right away. Even as the Bank of Japan, all eyes are still to see what they're going to do as regard the rate after seeing that inflation in that environment has also continue to look northward, and that is what investors are also looking in that environment. But like I said, is the activities in Toyota has boosted because of the potential buyout they are doing. This are things that also is impacting that market. But I'll tell you that the Chinese stock, as we speak, we are really flat because of uncertainty surrounding this ongoing US and China trade talk. These are the things that is going down on China. But other markets in that domain, even on Friday, we saw that index in US closed higher, but that also lead to weekly gain. But at the end of the day, for market opening in this Monday morning in that environment, after that index is also lower as we speak, remain as a rate of what uncertainties around the world because of this trade war. Even when it is easing as we are saying, but I think China and US are still not have come to where they are going as to speak. I think that most of the indices in that environment are very in green. You see that Japan rose by 0.5 up this morning on Monday. I was saying that also South Korea was also their index also jumping by 1.1. And like, I believe that they also position taken in a high tech company after seeing the result that came from Google, where they are the owners of Alphabet. This also have impacted that sentiment for tech companies who are seeing them also position taken in that environment. That also have helped also South Korea. You see that their index is also looking up as we speak. But like I said, that the US Treasury secretary and that of China as in their negotiation was seeing that sentiments are going up and down because we're hearing one thing or the other, which also today we react quickly to it. The next day things slow down. And that's why I will tell that to speak now. China index with the Shanghai composite as to speak, it's also on change as to speak now that you are seeing the index in that environment also. But we can also see that the Hong Kong also was seeing that the index is also down marginally by 0.1 as to speak now, 0.1 as to speak now in that environment. But officially, if you look at that, China activities in terms of business, so that on Wednesday we expect to see the results, to see how the manufacturing activities, that is the for China, how they are fed. Even with this providing this first outlook to see the impact of trade action on their manufacturing sector. I think that will also be an eye now for investors to know what is also going on in that that environment. Like I said earlier, that South Korea was up by 0.2 higher, and that of Thailand also up 0.3 as we speak. And the Indian market, which is the 50 is also up by 0.1. Australia also is not left behind. The Australian market is up by 0.8, and Singapore is also marginally down as we speak 0.5 in that zone. But if we go quickly to look at what is happening in Europe, like I said, that even when Bank of England chairman was saying that yes, that the tariff is going to be like a plus for them for what in terms of inflation still going down, but only the cost of what cost of labor might likely impact even when there's a kind of uncertainties surrounding the trade war or US trade policy, but see that they are not too worried about the trade war because of what inflation is likely to slow down in that environment. That's why I said, as we speak now, look at the European stocks or market, they are all in green now this Monday as we speak now, as investors are seeing positive earnings coming from that environment, and also still seeing a prospective suffering tariff tension and no more earnings or corporate earnings are expected, and economic data to give more insight this week, and that is why I see already market there are in green. And as we speak now, I can tell you that look at the index here at A40 is up, like say France has gained as we speak now 0.5%, up, and also the German index, which is DAS, also is up by 0.3, and it's also the general one, which is European 600, it's also up by 0.3. I think that in that environment, also we also go further to look at what is happening, and also in England, which is FTS, also 100 in US also have advanced as we speak now by 0.3. So we can see that most of the indices in that zone, in that region, are positively, up or in positive territory as we speak now. But on the hope of war, that US is open to war to negotiate with China over tariffs and also cooling down and what an intention trade dispute beyond between Europe and stock. And these are also boosted Europe stock last week. Also, I think that this optimism also have supported that the negotiation will come out something good at the end of the day, which everyone is also looking at. That also has supported European market as we speak right now, despite the uncertainties that also China is not saying because of in and out of the discussion they are having on the negotiation. Good one also was seen that also if you look at the oil market, look at that oil market also was seen now what we call a commodity market. Commodity market is also a bit flat now in terms of crude oil as we speak, but I believe that more stocks are expected to, or more companies are expected to release their number in this zone as well. And this is critical. Then also as well, wait to see European zone inflation data this week. It's also going to give more information what they will do. Even when they said they have also chance of lowering interest rate, even though it's closing, but they still have opportunity to lower the cut rate again. That's just for them to kind of keep the economy in the up direction. That is for the zone. But quickly look at what is happening in US market right now. As market has opened, after the US market, I think that their indices or the market there is also looking at a bit weak. I think that the market is almost flat. Some of the indices are already in green, in red, while some are ahead of this trade tension that is cooling down. We want to see what will shape this market going, even when we're seeing some heavy earnings in US, while most of them also we're seeing a mixed number. The index there or the market there is also gradually or slightly in red. I would say it has kind of edged lower this morning, with investors turning their attention to see some crucial profit earnings that also is to see against how this tariff background have impacted on this company. Already we have seen that there's a shift in position taken in that environment as companies or investors are targeting only international companies in that environment, and that also are going to trigger fund leaving the market. Even when the market has shown kind of bottoming twice, we have seen the first one, another one came, another bottoming come again. Is it going to be sustained? Let's wait and see. But I tell you that tech companies are still having attention, and they are the one also supporting the market in that environment as we speak. But I tell you that investors are still concerned about what is happening. But today, all eyes are still on some earnings to come from that environment, and these earnings also will give insight what will happen at the end of the day. That's why investors are still positioned as they are looking forward to see more data and also see earnings. This is also going to help them to make what informed decision as it goes. I also consider that gold is still sliding, even when tension is also softening or kind of easing. I see that gold price is still on a decline, even at this hour, international market. That the investors are looking away from gold as a safe weapon as we speak, or they are cashing out their profit, or as what I tell you, investors are still waiting for to see the crucial US job data for April and scheduled to come over this Friday by God grace, and also as first quarter, US goods, also GDP is also, as Fed has also favored the inflation to see if they want to do. But even when Trump is kind of trying to woo the Fed chairman for them to cut rate, but might say they need to also look at, let's wait and see what will come at the end of the day in the midst of global trade uncertainties. Yes, we come to Africa. I'll tell you that Africa market was also a mixed trend here. for good to our market here, Nigerian market, we are seeing that our stock market NGS has rebounded this morning, which is also for me is a good news for our market as we speak. And the investor are taking advantage of what heavy earnings we are seeing in the market. And I'll tell you that when it comes to earnings, I will give you more information on the earnings. But naturally, we are seeing that the index is going up in the green right away as we speak. When I mean index, the benchmark index that give you an insight what is happening in the general market. And this has a lot of what renewed buy interest after we saw a pullback as a lot of what hike after also suffering a sell-off last Friday. But this morning we have seen that more buyers are in the market than sellers, which is also a good news for NGS here. Yes, I think that NGS is trading around between 105,755.64 to 106,200 and 106,000 106,121 106,121.54. That means market is up in the green about 368.50, representing around 0.32 as we speak now. For me, it's a good news for the market that we are seeing this trend right away. Good one for our market. If you keep your eyes here, you can see that the market is also, for me, it's a good one. That means we are still seeing more players in the market. For me, it's a good one for the market as we speak. Let's see how others work. If you look at also market breadth, we're seeing that the market breadth is positively strong. We're having 36 gainers against what? Against the 30 gainers against 9 losers at this hour. So that investors are really taking advantage of what is happening in the market right away. For me, it's a good news for the market. So if you quickly look at the top gainers, on the time, we see that the international bureau is leading the pack with 10% up, followed by the initial PSC. You can see that the newly listed internet company is also the top gainers, trading at 750 kobo, followed by Cabri. We're seeing also an internal sustain almost 3 days rally. We're seeing also Abebe also after having witnessed some sell-off last week. I expanded this first 3 days of the week. Yes, on the loser side, we're seeing that Livestock is also leading by 10% down after releasing a missed number, which we are going to discuss in this class. Also following that, seeing the John Holt also on the loser side, also saying Jais Bank and FCM Coco and FCMB. These are the stocks that are leading on the loser side. But that the market spread is still also positive, as you can see here. Even when I turn this chart to a line, it can give you a result that yes, the market can see after going up, up there, pull back of Friday, you can see the market also, you can see the trend now moving up. For me, it's a good one as to speak now. The market is also looking up. Good one. The market has surpassed across the 0,000, 106,000 mark, heading toward 100. 6,050 as we speak right now. That is the state of the market. Market is still looking up. For me, it's a good one for our market for now. I was saying that the money flow, which we're going to discuss after the class. But let me quickly show you before I enter the earnings. That when I know I'm the earnings, I will not be bringing more of the chart again for the day. But let's quickly look at to see what is money flow talking at this hour and other indicators before I quickly enter the topic for today. But quickly, these are the things that we need to know as the market is unfolding right now, because you need to understand what is happening in the market to guide you make informed investment decision. It's very, very important at any given time that you pay attention to details like this. Yes, if you look at the market now, you can see that the market is trading above the T line. I told you last Friday, it tested the T line, but went up and closed marginally around the 0.30 last on Friday. But this morning, market has regained what a lost. It's a good momentum for the market. And money flow, can see that money flow at plus 55, looking up very good. And MACD is becoming more positive because that this is what we call a bullish MACD already on a daily chart. Yes, you might say on a weekly chart, what is the MACD doing? If you look at it for 1 week, what is MACD doing? It's also going to tell us. MACD also is looking up. MACD is also there. There's already a sign that this histogram here is already looking up. You can see that the blue one is about to cross toward the red one. What is that? That confirm it on a weekly chart. But money flow on a weekly chart is above 50. From looking up for me, it's also a good one. Yes, quick one. We're going back to our topic today, which is a talking number on earnings. We'll start from Seplat for the first one here for today. And let me go enlarge this so that you can see the figure here we're discussing. Yeah, I believe you are seeing this figure. This is the earnings of Seplat. I'll tell you that this is the first number coming from the oil and gas sector, and this number for me, big expectation. You can see that with the top line, which is the revenue or call it turnover, is already that at the end of the day we're going to see something less than 5 trillion for this company. If you are seeing at the first quarter of the year, you see the jump from 200 and 268.62 billion to 1.23 trillion. For me, it's a good one for Seplat. And it says that when the company is expanding, you can see the capacity building of this company, how it is now. But I say when the company is expanding, that's why what we are saying in assets, I think that investors should look at it. When you see companies expanding, even what you're going to see in Owando, even that Owando cannot vouch for them in terms of integrity and all that, but I'll tell you, because of the expansion they are seeing, and also even the oil price is oscillating, these are people that are supposed to see that posting a better number as we have seen, in a Seplat. Yes, even all eyes are still on another number, even when they have heard their board meeting, we're still waiting that they said before, not before 30th of April, the number with the market. But this coming from Seplat is a very impressive number to give us an insight what we should expect from the oil and gas sector, especially those that are related to crude business. You can see that the jump here from 268.62 billion to 1.23 trillion is a good one at the end of the day. When a company, top line, which is turnover or whatever I call it, is expanding, it says that more market is open, or this company is expanding their business, they are either taking other people's market, or they are opening up new markets. We know that's a good one, so that the company is really focused, and also there's a drive, with both the directors and the management of that company. At the end of the day, investors are interested in what also reflects on the bottom line. Yes, if you look at here, I see that the what we call interest finance income also dropped from 7.7 billion to around 3.4 or 3.97 billion. At the end of the day, you can see that also cost of finance also increased. You can see from 30.05 billion to 4.95. You can also see, but at the end of the day, investors, you and I, are interested to see what is the earnings, which is what the PAT. Even when you see that there is almost a times 2 of increase in the provision for income tax, which is expected for the government, we are interested to see what is in forward for investors of this company. You can see that the profit for the year moved from 2.87 billion to 35.38 billion. You can see these are many percent. You can quantify what it is. It's about almost 100 something or 700, almost 1,000 or 7,000%. You can see that this is huge for me. It's a good one for investors, in Seplat. That is why you must pay attention when you are investing. Invest with knowledge, and when you use figure numbers to guide you, I'll tell you, you make a lot of informed investment decisions rather than guessing. That's why I would encourage that people should look at what is happening in the market and follow and to that line in your investment decision, because it goes a long way to validate what you are doing. Because I told you that anytime, any day, on the short run, on the long run, that is feed on that the price feed on earning. And that means if that is what we will expect, that means you must pay attention whether to hold a company or to buy it. You must look at to see it. But why the technicals all tell you that it will tell you the momentum of how people are dumping or how people are jumping in. You will see where fund is sleeping and fund is running. You can also see the volume and also see the buy volume or buy sentiment or sentiment. That's why you must combine all this to give you more insight. Yet at the end of the day, you can see that the profit, the EPS moved from as low as 2 naira, 67 kobo to 52 naira. You can see that this is a good, and also another dividend have been declared by this company after they are giving you full last quarter dividend for 2024, and also the compensated investor from their reserve, or is it a bonus also in terms of another additional. It's almost they paid 5 times for 2024. Now they opened the year also with another interim dividend as announced this morning. But if you look at the company balance sheet, it's very healthy. I'll tell you, this is a robust balance sheet. Looking at the total assets, moving from looking at it from, sorry if I'm seeing the right figure here. If you look at our comparing with this, or you consider from 9.8, consider there's a little slowdown in their total assets. But at the end of the day, shareholders fall to their shareholders equity, or we call it, it's also almost flat from 2.83 trillion to 2.88 trillion. Fine. It's also looking up, but we want to pay attention to what is the retained earnings of this company. The retained earnings is almost flat here. And then look at the retained earnings. Okay, good. Good. The retained earnings is also not a bad one. Move from 319.01 billion to 349.7 billion, which is also not a good one. For quick one, because of our time, I have a money of them to look at, but I'll make it snappy. Let's quickly look at the cash flow of this company. That's why, as analyst or investor, as you're looking at company results, don't just look at only the profitability angle. Look at also the asset and also the cash flow to tell you if this cash flow you are seeing is sustainable. You also know at the end of the day. Looking at the cash flow for this first quarter, you can see here net cash flow from operation. You can see an improvement from the 22.25 billion to 328.49 billion. This which one for me, that's why this is a place to also pay attention. Yes, quickly look at what is happening in livestock. Livestock, in the last 3 years, we have seen an uptrend in their performance, but this first quarter, we are seeing a missed number. I want to look at this number to really identify what really has happened, why we are seeing a missed number. The top line, not a bad one, moving from 7.14 billion to 10.8 billion for 2025. For me, it's not a bad one. At the end of the day, look at what the cost of sale. Cost of sale is still up from 6.04 billion to 9. At the end of the day, we are still having a gross profit of 1.53 trillion against 1.1 in 2024. Then we look at further to see what the cost of expenses for. Here you can see that also their other operating income was up from 13.7 million to 36.44 million for the other operating income. But at the end of the day, you pay attention to what happened here, that the company had a really huge cost of finance that really put them in almost a negative position, if I would say. If you look at their operation from for cost from 469.92 million to 1.11 billion. This is huge. It's more than 200% growth in terms of what cost. This has also eaten into the company operation, and that has affected the bottom line that you are seeing. I will see a drop from 181.06 million to 38.22 million. You can see this have cost a lot. That means want to watch this company going to the future, and then they just translate to an earning per share of just about 12 kobo against almost 60 kobo obtain at the end of the year. All this is what we want to see, to look at and compare with. I tell you that this is also a decline at the end of the day. But you pay attention, I know that you have seen this number, but you pay attention to look at what is the balance sheet. But the balance sheet of this company becomes stronger even with the costs that have eaten into their profit that was seen at the profit and loss account. I think that totally the total assets or the total assets of the company also was in the green. Total assets of the company. Sorry, I was considering this figure here. I don't know that this here. Sorry, also was almost flat, just flat as we speak. But at the end of the day, look at the retail earnings of this company. There was a kind of retail earnings inch up for the period under review from 1.19 to 1.23. You can see it here up marginally. Good news that both the shareholders fund or total equity and retail earnings are still in green. Have to look forward to see the other activities for the year. This is just the first quarter of result we are seeing. But if you also come to cash flow, for cash flow, I want to understand here we're seeing cash flow, cash outflow operation also use. I see the same figure with this. But for me, if compared with the previous year, this is also improvement. Then that means this company, not cash flow is not their problem. Their activity is just the cost of finance that it keep into their operation. But the one that really baffles me is Transcorp Hotel. It's a company here that have moved from as low as 737 naira to almost 147 in less than 2 to 3 years. Just on low payout dividend, but because of the entire shareholding structure, we have seen the price jumping. But now the figure that we received for the first quarter for 2025 for me, this is not is below market expectation. This is a flat number. Even when we see that the top line was up, you can see that the bottom line was flat. The same figure that we saw almost just marginally up. For me, this is investors have to watch carefully. Only that I said the stock is not available that you are the one to set to put the price down because the shareholding is very tight. And for this result, it has to be among the top results now. But I'll tell you that this stock remain unchanged. And also because of the high price again, volume to change it also is also one of the things that also we also pay attention to. But I can see that the top line moved from 13.83 billion to 21.01 billion. Fine, it's up. That is also more than 30 to 40%, which is also above inflation. But the key, which is the earnings is flat here. I see that the cost of expenses is future. You can see how expenses also, and also other income also dropped drastically from 30.1 billion to 129.93 million. From billion to million, this also reflected, and also as the cost of operation also jumped here, and also payment for financial gain also you can see that increased from 9.5 million to 20.17 million. You can see these are the things that really choked this year activities that can start. The bottom line was flat. If you look at the bottom line for now, quickly look at the last one for today. Look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet is not looking bad at all, but you need to pay attention. Look at the balance sheet here. From 140 to looking at the total assets. You can see from 140.7 billion to 152.1 also billion. Really, this is also a good one for them. But I believe that the flat number, because I said earlier, because the shareholding structure is tight, you might not see it affecting what the bottom line at the end of the day. Also, if you look at the operating cash flow for this period, yes, you can see other cash flow like investment activities and finance activities. They might all be negative, but we are looking at the ones that is operating to make sure that the business continues. You can see that there is improvement from what we saw in 2024 March 31st and what we are seeing for the year ended for the quarter ended March 31st 2025 from 1.95 billion to 7.57 billion, which is also not a bad one at all. Good for the company. Like I said, you have to watch the sentiment on the chart to see what to do. But I tell you, this number is not good for Transcorp Hotel compared to what we saw in the Ikeja Hotel. This Ikeja Hotel is a departure from what we are seeing here. That means we need to pay attention. In Ikeja Hotel also come up to give a dividend for first quarter, as per seeing the dividend from Seplat, dividend from Waco, dividend for also from Ikeja, as I mentioned earlier. These are companies that also releasing dividend so far this year, just for investors to know also that the good things happening in the market, that the earnings are beating expected. Apart from this few, I've seen that we're seeing a missed number of the earlier for now. And also, like I said earlier, a healthy set that have released numbers that I'm still looking and shaking my head and laughing is what the consumer goods. Sorry, that came from Capri and one that came from International Brewery. It's a standing number. Yes, give inside what we expect to see in Unilever and that of what and that of Nestle. But you can see that if you are seeing there's a little stability in the consumer group, which is the manufacturing sector, which also provide employment for Nigerians. If they have mastered the game now, by knowing that here they are seeing a little stability in the exchange rate, which will help them to plan. We expect that yes, it will continue. If there's anything that if there's anything that affect the plan, if the CPM was able to work, mean that the dollar becomes stable, so that companies can plan with that dollars and also make projection. Yes, looking at what we call Infinity Trust Mortgage Bank. And this is one of the mortgage banks, just like we have a baby mortgage bank. That's that the figures we're seeing for the commercial banks. You can see that it's also reflecting. I saw the number that came from from Stanbic IBTC, because I see the one that just came from mortgage bank. For me, it's a good one also. Looking at their top line of gross earning from 853.28 billion to million, to million to 1.29 billion. It was a good one for the company. At the end of the day, consider their interest in income also moved from 731.9 million to 1.08 also billion for the period under report. That 90 days for me is not a bad one. There are fees and commission also income also moved from 30.1 19 million to 41.51 million. Good one. At the end of the day, want to look at what is the bottom line of this mortgage bank. If you look at this mortgage bank, I'll tell you that at the end of the profit after tax, which everybody investors are interested in, it moved from 332.88 million to 541.04 million. For me, it's a good one. This translates an earning per share of what of 50 kobo or 51 kobo against 31 kobo. For me, it's a good one for this company and so speak. Only that the price have gone up before now and it has remained stable because of what it moved. It moves. It's not exceeding. It's not coming down. Whether investors there are seeing buyers and about the price that remains stable because when it was moving, it moved in one direction. Since then, that remain in that up direction. But also, if you look at the balance sheet I've showed earlier, the balance sheet of this company is not bad at all. Consider the investors' equity is also very, very healthy as we speak now from 7.523 billion to 10.37 billion. For me, it's also a good one for the company. This is where I pay attention to, and total assets is also not bad, moving from 22.7 billion to 29.19 billion. It's also a good one for me. But I quickly want to look at the balance sheet of this mortgage bank for us to see. If you look at your operating cash flow here, cash flow generated from operation, you can see that it's also from a negative. For me, I tell you that it has to do with bank activity, negative operating cash flow. At time I know that it send a negative signal, but because of the nature of the report. For now, I consider that we're seeing an improvement from a negative of 400 something, 493.595 million to 1.52 billion. For me, it's a good one for the company. We're seeing more better number apart from the number that came from livestock that is missed, and this of and they are the one of Transcorp that is flat. I've not seen number like this, but let's see. But I believe that we're going to see more better number going to the future between now and the holiday. Even they will see all those ugly one coming during the holidays. That is on Thursday, but I believe between now and Wednesday we're going to see more number. You can see the life of a unit that was marked down today. Even after marked it has gained almost another 3 naira back. Tell that investor are repositioned their portfolio to see. And also I tell you, when we start seeing the PFAs coming back, we're going to see more better movement in prices of this stock, and that will also further push their price or if there's no any fluctuation in terms of policies. I believe that we expect the market to maintain this momentum. On this note, I will say thank you because of our time. I already given me a sign here. See you on Wednesday. Bye. Enjoy your trading.